Hello vegan adventurers, welcome to the exciting video from Odda, Norway, and today we're gonna be hiking to epic Buerbreen Glacier. Let's get started! We just parked our car over there at this parking, which is quite expensive, 15 euros even in the off season. Now we have about 2 hours of hiking to the glacier. And over here on the left is also another hike to Reinanuten Peak, which is almost 1300 meters high. So it's a lot of elevation. It takes about 3 hours one way, so we don't have time for that now, but it's also amazing views of the glaciers from there. After a few hundred meters of following a bigger road along the river, we started going up on the right through this wet and rocky single trail. And here we are crossing to first of many streams that are flowing onto the path from the hills on the right side. In this part they made a crossing through the streams easier with the constructions of these metal bridges. So now it seems like the path is following through here, but it totally turned into a river from so much rain. So now we're just kind of trying to cross it through these rocks, peeking out, not to get our feet completely wet. We got to the first steep part where you have to use a rope to get up these rocks, and especially now they're very slippery, so you have to be very careful. And over here we can see the glacier in the distance, and it seems still pretty far. I think we should get somewhere down there on the right. It's probably another hour from here. Here we are crossing through even bigger river, so it takes a lot of balancing to jump through these rocks. Luckily soon after they built here this amazing suspension bridge.
It's always you. It's always you. It's always you. It's always you.
And right after crossing the bridge, we have another climbing part, crossing through this slippery rock side while holding a rope. And over here you can see the Newton peak where I've been trail running a few days ago, and from there you can see a great view of the fjord and Odda town. So these more difficult parts with the rope make the hike more interesting. Now in this rainy weather we would appreciate something more easier. We also don't have that much more time before darkness. So it seems like the glacier will be somewhere where those rocks are finishing. Probably another half an hour till there. Now we can see the glacier even better, so hopefully we're gonna get some epic views once we get there. We have one more climb with the rope, so some of them are pretty challenging, especially when the rocks are slippery. Alright, so we just ascended the last steep part with that ladder over there. And now the terrain is getting more flat, and we also got this amazing view of the whole glacier, which definitely looks much better than the view we got last time at the Buerbreen Glacier. Right, and here we got to this signpost, which marks like the beginning of the glacier, which was probably here before. And here on the right you can see some huts. Here we have a sign warning about dangers of getting too close to the glacier, which was probably built when the glacier was much closer. Folgefonna, the third largest glacier in Norway, covers 205 square kilometers and is 37 kilometers from north to south and 16 kilometers at its widest. Its deepest, the ice is 300 meters thick. To the east and the west, Folgefonna's branches reach down to the valleys like rivers of ice, such as Buerbreen or Buerbreen glaciers. Alright, and here we got to this river with some destroyed bridge which was probably used before to cross it all the way to the glacier, but now the river is too strong and the rocks are very slippery. It's not worth it for me to risk splashing in the water and be cold all the time, and I'm already pretty close to the glacier. I'm just gonna take some more shots of the glacier from here, which looks pretty amazing. As it started raining a little bit, we found this little hut just near the glacier. So we can wait here for a few minutes to warm up a little bit and wait for the rain to pass so we can fly the drone.
When it hits you, yes, indeed, yes, yes, you shall. When it hits you, yes, indeed, yes, yes. When it hits you, yes, indeed, yes, yes, you shall. When
Okay, we are leaving the glacier. Time it's 5:45 already, and we're just flying a drone, but it's raining on and off, so that's not good for it. And we just lost the drone 2 weeks ago, so we don't want to risk again. So now we just gotta be careful on the way back, and it's gonna be getting dark, so we gotta be moving quickly until the safe spot. Let's go. So down there you can see the farm where we have parked the car, and we have to make it there in 1 hour when it's gonna get dark. And now we're descending through one of the most difficult parts, and it's really challenging with these slippery rocks. I would say it's harder than going up because you have to look backwards to see where you're placing your feet. And it was especially difficult for Sanya, who is not used to descending like this with the rope. So you see, descending like this down with the rope requires a certain technique. You have to lean back a little bit and make a 90-degree angle between the feet and the rock, so it's easier to descend down. And now we're getting a clearer view of the hills above the Buerbreen Glacier, which is pretty much the part of the whole Folgefonna Glacier. If you're really adventurous, you can also book a glacier exploration tour even in the summertime, as well as summer skiing on one of the slopes of the Folgefonna Glacier. And over here we have an alternative route to descent just before the suspension bridge, so before we're ascending up this way.
What's Drablin's Drables? I feel a little vulnerable, a little exposed.
So from this point to the glacier is only about 1 kilometer, but the road is so treacherous with more elevation that it takes longer time than the remaining 1.5 kilometers we have left. It's always a great opportunity to refill your bottle at these fresh, uncontaminated water streams. You can get a natural form of B12 in the form of some dirt that's in this water. So as you can see, it's getting darker and darker, and we still have about 1 kilometer till the end, and we have to be still very careful because many of these rocks are very slippery. Right, and here we connected to this bigger path, which should soon connect to the bigger tractor road. We still have almost 1 kilometer till the finish, but on this bigger road it should take less than 10 minutes. What are my impressions of this hike? The glacier looked definitely spectacular, and even though we had a bad weather, I would definitely recommend to come here. Much better view of the glacier than the Buerbreen Glacier we visited last week. Just make sure you set out earlier, especially if the surface is slippery and wet. I recommend at least 4 hours for this hike. We did it in about 3 hours, but it was kind of hairing up, especially at the end to make it before darkness. Alright vegan adventures, that's it for this vlog. We have one more big adventure coming up from Odda, which is actually the biggest adventure we did in Norway, and it's the hike to Trolltunga Rock. We plan to hike there tomorrow and then camp and spend the night right at Trolltunga and then hike back the next day. So it should be a really epic adventure. So definitely stay tuned for that video, and as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous.